And welcome to another edition of Judgment Day. We are casting judgment on Reddit posts. Season 1 is all about the Am I the Asshole thread, which looks at kind of moral and ethical judgment and dilemmas. Joining me are our main members of the jury box. We got Raina and Logan. We got to get some guest jurors on here soon because I can't wait to hear what other people think. So next time, I'll work on it. Today, though, it's going to be a little bit of a twist. Logan is going to share something that she found on the thread. So, Logan, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Oh, boy, guys, I'm really excited. It's my big break. All right, so this title is called, Am I the Asshole for Refusing to Drive My Girlfriend Anywhere, Forcing Her to Stop Her Hobby?
Ooh.
Thoughts?
Well, I'm hearing hobby and not job. So my first thought is, well, what's the hobby? What's the hobby like? Because it was a job that might make it a little bit different for me. So that's my first take, but let's see. I don't know. Raina, you have any thoughts?
From somebody who doesn't have any hobbies, much less a life, that would be devastating. But, you know, I'd also like to know what the hobby is. Is it something like Lululemon? Then you have a responsibility to not drive that person.
Yeah. Well, yeah, especially like if it's an expensive hobby, like, ooh, then buy a car. Okay, Logan,
you guys ready?
hit us with it. Hit us with it.
My 30 male girlfriend, 30 female, cannot drive. She did lessons over 3 years ago, hates driving, and refuses to drive. She never took her test, so she doesn't have a driver's license. During COVID, she decided to stop working, and I mentioned to her that it would be good for her to use that time to practice driving and do her test, since where we live, there isn't a ton of public transport, and asked her to let me know when she wanted to practice her driving. After 6 months, where she never asked me to practice, I started pushing her to do some driving, and we started going. She would have a panic attack every time a car was behind her and had forgotten rules of the road. She wasn't braking before getting to a roundabout, and whenever I said to her, brake, she'd get angry. So I told her it'd be better to reach out to a professional and do more lessons, and offered to pay for it. She never did, and asking her about it would cause issues, so I stopped. Thoughts so far?
You could tell that they have two different takes on this. You know, for her, this is a limitation. She doesn't want to do it. She can't do it. She refuses to try and make it work. You know, maybe she needs to go to therapy. Maybe she needs to take some LSD and like figure it out. I don't know. But she's clearly closed off. But at the same time, he's very pushy. You know, like, and it feels like a parent to a child. Like, did you clean your room today? Did you clean your room today? And it's like, I don't know.
And the fact that she's having panic attacks and he's like, get over it, you know?
Yeah, no, and there does seem to be a little bit of an invalidation. But yeah, I mean, if they're living in an area, though, where like there's no public or really bad public transportation, like, why aren't they in a better place in their town? Like, you're telling me that like there's no place that you can move to, or like there's no downtown area where like she could just walk places better or get like an electric scooter. Well, I don't know if she'd electric scoot, but you know what I mean? Like, just better accessibility for her.
Yeah. All right. So when she started looking for a job, she had to accept the only job that was easy to reach with public transport. After getting the job, she told me she'd never drive, and I told her that was okay, but I would not be driving her places anymore because she had years to start driving and chose not to. She now registered for dance classes, which have been her hobby since forever, but the classes are 15 to 20 minutes away by car. I asked her how she was going to get there, and she said she'd need me to drive her. I refused to drive 15 to 20 minutes there and back and have to repeat that an hour later 3 times a week. It screws up my evening, and I did it pre-COVID because I was under the impression it was temporary, but I will not be doing it forever. When I told her this, she said she didn't think I was serious about her driving and that I was controlling to force her to drive when she didn't want to and when it made her anxious, and that it was even worse to force her to quit her hobby. There aren't any classes she can reach by public transport. I can understand anxiousness, but I've been driving her back and forth places for the 4 years we are together and cannot keep doing this. If I keep doing it, she has no incentive to drive. So, am I the asshole?
4 years. Like, I feel like he kind of sucks for like thinking that like she's going to change, and it's been 4 years and she hasn't. So if this was a problem for you, you should not have just assumed that she would learn to drive. Like if someone's telling you, I don't want to drive, I get anxiety, I have no desire to drive. You can't just be like, well, I'll get them to change their mind. Or like maybe one day that'll be different. That can't be your assumption. Your assumption needs to be, if I date this person, they will not want to drive. And I've talked to people, on the Tinder, on the Bumble, who, not like a lot, but once in a while, someone's like, yeah, I don't drive. I don't want to drive, blah, blah. It's like, okay, good to know you. Bye. And that's not me being mean. Like, do you, Aunt Sue? But at the same time, I don't want to drive 20 minutes to dance, 20 minutes back, stay at home for 40 minutes, go 20 minutes, 20 minutes. I mean, I'm the kind of person that probably would set up shop next to at the coffee shop next to the dance club and just hang around because it's an hour class. I mean, there's really no point in like leaving if it's that far away, but you're still your schedule has to revolve around their activity. And that to me is kind of insensitive. Now I get what she's feeling. I mean, if she doesn't want to drive, then she should be able to not drive if that's what benefits her. But that comes with a cost. There's a cost associated with that, right? Like I feel like we all have to take into consideration, like if we don't want to do something, there's benefits and there's consequences. And in this case, there's probably a lot more consequences than there are benefits of not driving, but that's what you got to do. And I don't know. I just think 4 years, he should have seen this coming. I can't believe he just thinks that like, if I take a stand now, it's going to change. I don't think she's going to change because it sounds like she has some serious issues getting behind that wheel. So anywho, Raina, what do you think?
This all just seems very sudden. I mean, he obviously has not probably been wanting to drive for 4 years, and it probably has been percolating for a while, but 6 months is not enough time to start that conversation and expect it to be resolved. Obviously there's anxiety. I'm sure he was aware of the anxiety. But like Matt had said earlier, it's just like, did you clean your room? Did you clean your room? Not, why aren't you cleaning your room? I know that whenever my boyfriend has taken me to things, he's also like Matt, where he'll just kind of hang out at the coffee shop, set up. It could be possibly that there's no reciprocation that she can provide. So that's probably also where it's coming from, of like, maybe it's not something he wants to admit, but okay, I'm doing all these things. I'm changing my schedule in my life. When is that going to come my way? Yeah. And COVID also has probably put a lot of people under stress, and this idea of, okay, well, better yourself. There's been so much pressure during COVID. I know for me personally, of like, okay, well, what are you going to do to better yourself? What are you going to start doing? And it's like, my brain can't handle some of these things. Like I'm trying to just not die when I go outside. Like I can't mentally handle starting a brand new thing, but she's been doing this forever, been a part of her life. So I think it's a combination of those things. I do feel like it is selfish. I really do.
It feels like she doesn't understand how difficult this is for him. And to a degree, he doesn't understand how difficult this is for her. I feel like she just thinks you could just drive me. Why can't you just drive me? Not realizing that like that adds up to, if it's 15-20, I mean, that's like 2 hours, like an hour and a half of his day is spent driving you
3 times a week too.
Yeah. And in his mind, he's like, it's just driving, which I get that it is just driving, but for her, it clearly is not just driving. It is there's panic attacks.
Part of it.
There's issues. So
part of it though is like he was helping to like teach her how to drive, and when that wasn't working, he was like, well, why don't we like find you professional like lessons, and I'll pay for it. I will pay for your driving lessons so you can comfortably like start driving, like figure it out. And it doesn't seem like it's a very like sudden, like you have to do it now. It's obviously been, he's trying to help with her and he's trying to work it out. And so, I mean, I do appreciate like the putting your foot down and being like, this is a hobby. Like if you find a dance class that you can take by your public transport, like that's that would work. But it's just, this is very hard for me to like continuously take you to something that is just for fun, you know?
Yeah. And that's a good point too. You know, this is not life and death. This isn't like, you know, the parents in the hospital. This isn't like money is involved. In fact, she's spending money on these dance classes. I mean, there's, like you said, it's like a non-committal in the sense, like it's definitely like the weakest thing to go as your hobbies. And listen, I love my hobbies. My hobbies are so important to me. I put my hobbies probably number one all the time, but like, I don't do it at the expense of other people. You know, I wouldn't say, hey, I want to, you know, do this podcast special, but like Logan and Raina, I need you to like, you know, do this and do this and do this. Then it's just not, it's not fun and it's a hassle for people. So.
Yeah. Do you guys want to hear what the top comment is? Or what the thread thinks?
Should we put in our own judgment first?
Yeah. Let's do that. What do you guys think?
Okay. I'm going to say, I think everyone sucks here. I'm going to go everyone sucks here because there's a lot of reasons why. I think he should have expected her to not change. In that situation, when someone tells you, I don't want to drive, I don't ever want to drive, you can't expect, oh, I will change them. I will make them go back on that. It's kind of like asking someone who's like, I'm allergic to peanuts. And you're like, don't worry, I'll fix that for you. I will change your allergy. It's like, no, buddy, you can't. I think she doesn't realize how much she's imposing on him. I think she doesn't really understand that like this is a huge time commitment. It's just, you know, he's the one driving. You get to sit there and like text and tweet on your phone as he drives. But again, I think he's asking too much in the sense that, you know, oh, you should do this. You should do this. And if it's just not working out for her, it's not working out for her. She's in her 30s. She knows by now that she'll probably not want to ever drive. I mean, it's not like she's 20 or 18. Like she's had a decade to figure out that this is not for her. And no offense, the way he described it, I wouldn't want her driving so she can hit me at the roundabout. Like, no, thank you. Stay home.
Oh my God. I did that one time. It was no. I didn't break it. Sorry. I didn't break at the roundabout. It was my like first, like, you know, tiny roundabout. Cause I've done the big ones where you like drive around. I was driving with my two friends and I just kind of like went and I just see my friends like holding on to the car. I was like, what? They're like, you have to wait. You can't just go. And I was like, oh, I mean, I just thought it was like, you know, just kind of drive in, just do it.
Yeah.
So no, totally get it. Raina, what about you?
Roundabouts are supposed to be safer.
They're terrifying and I hate them.
Oh, I love them. It makes it go so quick.
I'm a fan. I'm going to say no assholes here. I really don't think so. I think it's a total breakdown of communication and expectations of other people. I don't blame someone who has lived this lifestyle for a while to you know, like not understand why is it changing, even though, you know, all the signs are there of like, obviously I don't want to drive you anymore. Like I'm trying to pay for your stuff. But I also think his expectation is completely reasonable. You know, he has a life and things, and some people are willing to make that adjustment to help their partner and some people aren't. And there's, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. I don't think. I think the issues arise when it becomes too sudden, too quickly, too abrupt, coming out of nowhere, that type of thing. But I don't feel that here. I think it sounds like he's under a lot of pressure and he's pushing that pressure onto someone else. But that's understandable when you feel like this person's things are affecting you and only you. So I think both sides are pretty reasonable, but I think he needs to start looking for another partner. I think that could, you know, and that could be a make or break thing, and that sucks. But you know, you can only compromise so much, and I don't know. Those must be really good dance classes.
Dang.
I'm going to guess. Oh, wait, go ahead, Logan.
I say not the asshole. I think that after 4 years of him driving her everywhere, doing what he can, trying to help her out, and now she's upset that he's saying, like, putting his foot, like, no, I'm sorry, I cannot drive you to this one hobby. Like, it's a lot, and it's a lot on me, and you're expecting me to move around my schedule and change what I'm doing. And yeah, I think that I admire him saying, I'm so sorry, but like, I cannot do this. Like, I need to think about myself in this one situation after 4 years of helping you out. You guys ready?
Okay. I'm interested to see what they said.
What do you guys,
I mean, I feel like sometimes the forum, they're very like pro women. And so sometimes they'll just say that the guy's the asshole because like screw men, which I get. But in this case, I feel like they're going to say not the asshole, because where he's coming from, she definitely is putting on a burden, but I don't know.
the thread said not the asshole.
Okay.
The top comment is, if she decides not to drive, she must also take the consequences. It's not your responsibility to get her everywhere she wants. She can still learn how to drive. If she doesn't want to, she won't be able to benefit from having a car. So either get another hobby or find another way to get there. And the comment right under
what I said earlier was the consequences of not driving. That's so funny. Yeah.
The comment right under it said, guess her new hobby needs to be biking.
Oh, that's a little sassy, but I like it.
That's funny.
And yeah, it's like, I totally agree. Like, I mean, before I even read, the comments, I was like, that's where I'm at. If you cannot rely on somebody to constantly cater to you and then be upset, when it's something that's for fun, that they say, oh, sorry, I can't be there. I can't help you with that.
I mean, he's not an asshole for feeling the way he is. I do think he is a little bit of an asshole, or maybe not asshole, but a little bit of a dummy for thinking that she's going to change. Like,
yeah,
like he has this expectation that like, what are you waiting for? And it's like, that's just not how it works, dude. So that's what I don't like about it.
She's gotten in the car and like, driven with him. So I'm assuming maybe she was like, yeah, I mean, I want to, and I want to learn how to, and maybe it was building towards that. And just after 4 years, it's kind of like, he's realizing, she's never going to learn how to drive. So.
Oh, that was a really good one, Logan.
Yeah. I thought it was fun.
Yeah, that was a good one. I didn't see that at all. That's exciting too, because I've been combing the thread pretty religiously, so that was new to me. So, what a treat! Fun. What a treat! All right, well, another episode of Judgment Day has been decided. We have cast our stones for the day. We'll see you next time on Judgment Day.
Judgment Day is a podcast by Starvolt Studios. Judgment Day is executively produced by Matt Rebar, Logan Molnar, and Raina Butel. For more awesome content, just go to starvoltstudios.com or on their Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter page.